Really quick before we get into this video, this is going to be a long one because the way I do these Airsoft Collection videos is it's not just to talk about the Airsoft Collection from the past year, but also to catch up with you guys and just talk about some things, maybe vent a little, I don't know, just talk about how the year went. This was supposed to be out in March. I didn't do it till May because I confused March and May from last year, but last year's was March, so hopefully next year's on March. If not, it comes around the same springtime area. So this is what it's looking like nowadays. Built up a nice big pile, and it's only gonna keep growing. Got a bunch of nice little airsoft, you know, some real stuff. But I love looking at this corner. It's pretty sweet. Also, the Nintendo shelf is about to change up because it's becoming summertime. A lot of sunlight's gonna be coming in, so I'm gonna remove everything off the shelf that's like, you know, got little covers on it, prevent them from getting sun faded. So next video, you might see some different stuff on this shelf. It's gonna be, I'm gonna take this stuff down, put up some consoles, maybe some more airsoft stuff, I don't know. But yeah, I gotta get this off before the sun fades all of the classic Nintendo stuff. Pretty dang sweet. What is up, barrel boofers? A whole nother year has gone by, so you know what that means. I am exponentially more bald than I have been previously. No, all jokes aside, it's time for another Airsoft Collection, yearly collection video thing. Yeah. If you're one of the OGs and you've been here long enough, you know that I did an Airsoft Collection 2024 video. It's a relatively long one. This video is not going to be as long because I'm not just going to rehash all of the things that you already know from the last collection video. But the way this is going to go is every year I'm just going to go over all of the new guns that I've acquired, if any. If I don't get any guns in this new year, then I'm just going to kind of skip it, if that makes sense. We get to see the new guns. I get to talk about the new guns, ones that I haven't done videos on yet. And we also get to just like talk about any updates I may have added to any of the previous guns that I've had before that I've talked about. So what you're going to be seeing is a bunch of new stuff. It's not technically the entire collection because I'm not going to regurgitate the same airsoft guns that I did last time. So if you want to see the guns that I don't talk about, go ahead, check out the video. So enough yapping, let's finally talk about the airsoft guns. We'll start at the bottom of the barrel with the worst airsoft gun I own. And yeah, it's the worst, but also it's still pretty cool. You can still play with it at the field. It's not a bad gun necessarily. The reason I say it's the worst is because of the price. I've been trying to get to the field to do a video on this thing specifically. I'm going to start with doing an AK video first because it's been a long time since I purchased the AK, so I can review it and talk about how it's held up. This would probably be second because I actually did modify this to give it a threaded barrel because it's all plastic, not even like a strong polymer, just like cheap store plastic. HK416, you know, 280 FPS if you're lucky. But I was able to mod a threaded barrel, so I'm going to do a video on how to do that if you do so happen to own this gun, or if you end up picking it up, which I don't recommend, unless it's discounted. Which I got this gun in my Airsoft Tractor Supply video. I talk about, I don't remember if it's the first one or the second one, but like Tractor Supply had airsoft guns for a little bit, and I guess they decided that they didn't want to carry airsoft anymore, so they slowly started to get rid of them, and they put them all at a discounted price. I did some different things to it, you know, put on a little brown stock, because when I had the attachments on it, I had the brown rail covers, brown stubby grip, fun things. This is the HK416. Pretty cool. It takes all standard M4 magazines, you know, and they sit actually really snug. This probably holds mags more snug than any airsoft gun I own, and it really does take these LWA Lancer mags really well, which some of the airsoft guns out there don't. Nice and nice and snug. Yeah, threw some electrical tape to cover the cheap like white text lettering they have on it that ruins the aesthetic of the gun. But it's officially licensed HK416. You know, it's still cool. All plastic rail covers. I threw some foam beneath around the handguard, you know, to give it like a more silenced sound, which actually worked really well. Super lightweight. That is the benefit. I wouldn't recommend using this at an outdoor field. I would only use this CQB because then you can just run around and run up on people and take them out really quick. It's perfect for a CQB if you just have one and you want to get into the airsoft hobby. Definitely don't be discouraged to use this over using a rental. I see people with this gun at the field from time to time. I'm instantly able to recognize it. And, they're still having a good time. So, yeah. I don't recommend buying this gun, though. Don't buy this. This is the cheapest HK416 on the market. Just simply because price to build quality. For pretty much the same price, maybe $20 to $50 more, you can buy, like, an actual good airsoft gun. So, yeah, moving on to the next gun. Another cheap gun, but more of a gem, is the, I bought it also at Tractor Supply, the HK CO2 USP45 non-blowback, so the slide doesn't move. But this gun is actually quite famous with a lot of airsofters, especially if you can find it for the full kitted out version that comes with the laser light and the suppressor attachment. I bought a base version of it, just the gun, but that's because it came $25. Normally it's like $50 to $60. I got this for $25. How the hell could I pass that up? Standard CO2 mag, nothing too crazy. It's just, standard airsoft gun. But for a sidearm, yeah, gas blowback is fancy. You don't need gas blowback, and this gun performs amazing. I eventually want to get, because I have a UMP45, I want to get the G36C and the, can't remember if it's called the V-Spec, but the fancy HK416, the higher tier one that's actually really good. And I would love to do like a video where it's like, okay, every game we start with this gun, every game our HK replica gets better or more expensive. One of those style videos that C7 Viper likes to do or WAG Entertainment likes to do. And then we could also make a short out of that. It's just like every time I get a kill with the HK gun, the HK gets better. Oh, I gotta get an MP7 as well. But yeah, nothing fancy. Non-blowback CO2 pistol. I didn't do a toss. Just pretend I was standing in the same position. This next one is another CO2, but this is a blowback 1911. This is the Barra Arms 1911. That name, if it's unfamiliar for you, it's essentially a subdivision of Crossman or Black Ops. I don't know. There was a company for a while at Dick's Sporting Goods and other retail stores that had Black Ops as their branding for their airsoft guns. This is them. It's just called Barra Arms now. This thing is badass. You got your standard Picatinny on the bottom. It's all metal, all CO2 mags, and yeah, it's hefty. It is a nice airsoft gun. The orange tip came out nice and easy. I love that stainless barrel to it, and it just feels beefy in your hands. My biggest complaint about the gun is how bold the safety writing is on the side of the slide. They could have done without that. I don't know why they didn't. But they're retail airsoft, not like a professional airsoft brand. But this thing is just on par with any other 1911. I also bought this discounted at Tractor Supply. Yeah, it's got gas. It's just loose grip it. It's got the most kick recoil out of all of my other gas blowback guns, but it feels so cool. I would like to get more mags for it so I can use this as a actual sidearm or just as a main, because it's CQB, just to be Rainbow Six and around those corners. Funny story though, when I did unbox this, somehow a BB got into the chamber of the gun when I went to just test the CO2 of it, and the BB actually shot out of the gun when I was testing it. Developing firearm discipline. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the perfect example why you always check a firearm, even if it's just an airsoft toy, because this was a brand new gun out of the box with no BBs in the magazine, and somehow there was a round in the barrel. It's possible the BB rolled out of the plastic baggie like there was a hole somewhere and somehow rolled its way down the barrel, but it shot a BB despite being a brand new gun, which should have been empty. Always, always, always make sure your guns are empty. The hell did it just shoot? There was nothing in the mag. Huh. Oh yeah. Crazy. How the hell does that happen? Some kid tried to say that I faked that oh yeah, there's gonna be a BB in the chamber when you put one in there, but I genuinely didn't. That's not something I would like. Maybe with airsoft that could be a good joke, but if I'm like on the topic of firearm safety and how you should always have trigger discipline even with it's an airsoft gun, I wouldn't put a BB in there and pretend like I didn't know there was a BB in there, if that makes sense. You know, that genuinely happened. That's why I was like, I should have really check to see if the chamber was clear. Even with just an airsoft gun, it leads you to be a responsible gun owner. If you're too young to own guns, practicing firearm safety and being responsible, like not flagging people and keeping your finger off the trigger at all times, making sure the gun is empty every time you pick it up, will build that muscle memory and the habits for when you do become an actual firearm owner. I think it's just something important to learn. If you are a gun guy and you're like, never thought of that, you should probably stop touching your guns until you get that down. I see too many people in YouTube shorts with their guns, like, just... Oh man, we hard, bro, we hard, look at my gun collection, we hard. Don't do that. Never, ever, 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 because you never know. Now, people shoot on accident, even if they are responsible gun owners, pulling them out of their holster. Or you could be a 320 owner. Another HK product. Woo! This is the Umarex UMP45. And ironically, this is my most accurate airsoft gun that I own. It's more accurate than my super $400 gun we'll get to later. Straight out of the box, no mods. This thing is a laser beam. The worst part I could say about this UMP45 is the trigger response. It's you really got to pull it far back to rapidly fire it, and it's got a fat trigger to it. So, you know, nothing competition special, but once you get some nice mid caps for it, which these are pretty cheap, this thing is sweet. Another complaint out of the box, it doesn't have a threaded barrel, but unlike the cheapo HK416, this UMP45 has a barrel kit. So with the barrel kit, you can actually take the inner barrel out and the inner barrel, or the outer barrel, take the outer barrel out. The outer barrel originally is plastic, and you get to replace it with this nice metal one that actually comes with a mock suppressor. I did a video on that whole upgrade if you want to check that video out. All these videos should be linked in the description below. If I forget one, you know, just go to the channel. Once we threw the threaded barrel on, I was able to throw a tracer unit on it, and it does look really good with the tracer. I don't have the tracer on now because I don't have enough tracers for all my guns, so I kind of just swap them between which gun I'm using. The suppressor it comes with, the mock suppressor it comes with, is super, super long, so I just kind of use the shorter tracer unit. But it's an all polymer construction. You know, the real UMP is mostly plastic, I think. I don't own one. You know, I'm more of a M4 guy. One day maybe I'll have all the guns I want. The charging handle is fake, which I talked about in my unboxing, so you can't do the HK slap. You're a company that wants to make an HK. You know what people love? The HK slap. You don't want to know what you can't do with this? Well, obviously you can't use it as a butt plug, but also the charging handle is fake. To access the hop-up, you gotta pull it with your grippers, and you can get to the rotary style hop-up. It's got a very nice version 3, so it takes a AK gearbox. If anything ever happens, you just buy an AK gearbox, throw that bad boy in there, and you're good to go. So if you wanted to upgrade it, you could also just buy an upgraded AK gearbox and whatever. It is lipo capable, freaking sweet. I usually run an 11-1 LiPo in this, and it's still running like a champ to this day. After the AK video, we're going to do a video on this one, like a full review and all of that, and a teardown, because this doesn't tear down like an AK or an M4. So getting the teardown, it's pretty easy. I mean, if you see the barrel change video, you'll know the teardown. But for people who are just looking for reviews on the gun, barrel teardown, nice and sweet. We are CQB field, so I like the way it looks with the stock and the feel of the stock, but usually when I'm in there playing, I end up folding the stock just to get around the corners better, you know. Obviously, I kind of wish there was a way I could remove the stock, or if I could replace it with an adjustable, something I'll have to look into. Dang, the thunder. Very beautiful gun. Smarter move by them is the airsoft warning and safety branding texts are just imprinted black onto the polymer, so it's not being an eyesore for the overall aesthetic of this gun. The rails on it are actually, the Picatinis are actually metal Picatinny rails, which is a huge upgrade. The bottom rail is kind of weird. You had to like take this one off, put your grip on, and then Allen key it back down, whatever. Sling mounts, nice and thick, epic. The front one's nice and thick, epic. Very, very comfortable gun to use. Super, super accurate out of the box. If yours isn't accurate out of the box, it's adjust the hop up. If it's not, you know, the hop up, airsoft guns, there's sometimes lemons. But this is the lowest tier of this UMP you can buy. You can buy a higher tier AEG that does have a working charging handle, that might have some more metal parts. You could buy a higher tier that is, an even higher tier that is gas blowback. But for, I think it was like 180. I mean, I'm not gonna, this is more of a like chill, yep, sesh type video, so I'm not gonna throw all of the pricing in there. So based off memory, I think it's 180, which is still really, really good for an airsoft gun. I'm all about building up those budget guns so I can truly review them for people, because there's not enough distinct reviews, or when I watch a review on a budget gun, they're not giving everything I would like to see in the video. So I hope to bridge that gap with review videos on cheap guns. And that way, if you're more into the collecting, replica owning aspect of airsoft, you know which cheap replicas to buy over just having to dump all of your life savings into really expensive one-to-one super real metal replicas of airsoft guns. And you can just get all of the gun styles you want at a budget yet comparable level to use at the field and compete with, but also be able to switch it up like you're in a fucking Call of Duty create a class lobby. Moving on, next gun. Oh god, it got longer. This is the old infamous AK I keep talking about. This thing is a beast. This thing was super impressive for the price. This thing is everything I wanted for a cheaper airsoft replica and more. This is not the original stock. This stock is actually from my actual AR, which I fixed up. I think I was talking in the last Airsoft Collection video about how I needed to fix my AR. AR's all fixed. We'll get to that too. Fun charging handle, standard AK hop-up battery goes in the top. AK magazines, version 3 gearbox. You know, it's got a fancy red barrel that it's also, it's super accurate. Not as accurate as the UMP, but, you know, almost the same in terms of accuracy. This thing is just so fun to use. I threw a micro red dot on the top rail because I don't have an actual rail system attachment for this, which just works perfectly. Every time I pull it up to my cheek, the dot's exactly where I need it to be, right where it's at on the rail system. You get the benefit of having the M4 style handguard on this Matrix Tactical Special Edition AK. The benefit of having it be able to handle an 11-1 LiPo, which is what I run in this thing for over a year now, so I know it's not going to burn shit out so far. It is super light, despite being mostly metal. That's right, this Airsoft AK was like at 180. This one I know more for sure because I constantly think about that price. And it comes with a metal receiver and a metal dust cover. Most AKs, the bottom receiver is not metal. It's usually a plastic build, like my other AK. Takes all AK mags. Little trapdoor's a little weird, but these ones are kind of thick, these plastic ones. Takes a little bit here. The pistol grip is nice and thick for a good firm grasp on this gun. Everything is metal except for the handguard, but everything underneath the handguard is metal. This, even the front iron sight is actual metal. This thing is a beast for the price point. It feels like a $400 gun at the price of $200 after tax. And you get to deck it out all cool like it's an M4 with that M4 style barrel. I can't remember what the exact AK configuration is called when they have like these kind of handguards on them. Oh, sick M4. Sick comrade, not American dog weapon. I haven't practiced my Russian accent in a while. I use this gun the least, just because CQB field, it's a bit on the longer end of things, but I'm trying to use it a whole lot more so I can give the full review and breakdown for the next airsoft video of this. But it is one of my favorites. It's so aesthetically pleasing, especially when you kit it all out. You know, comes with threaded barrels, so we got the tracer unit on there. You know, nice little red dot, and just playing around with it, it's one of my favorites, and it just looks so sleek. Very cool. Happy to have this one in the collection. I will be keeping this one for most of my life. Get on to the next one. This next one, I have two builds for, two configurations for one gun. What you're looking at is my long-range outdoor style build. The barrel goes all the way from the receiver all the way to the end here. So I have a tracer unit on just because I want to use it at MK Airsoft despite it being a longer gun, you know, not really a CQB gun. I made a YouTube short and TikTok on this gun really fast if you want to check it out. I had a leftover cheap polymer upper receiver for this gun, so that way I can just make the build work. If I ever get around to it, I will buy a metal one for this. But this is the Specna Edge 2.0 series. This gun retailed at $400 before tax. It's got a nice fancy MOSFET in it, you know, super powerful, super snappy. The trigger, you just have to, and it'll shoot. So that leaves you open for rapid fire play at the airsoft field whenever you're clearing corners or need to suppress, or just how most, you know, fast trigger airsofters play, you know. My foot, my toes. Super cool. Not the original stock. This stock's from the Valken, but this stock was lighter. I weighed all of the stocks and put the lightest stock I had on here. Just because it being the Specna Edge 2.0 series, it is all metal. You're getting an all metal upper, lower, you know, handguard, all of the good fixings. And at $400, you better. So this is my outdoor setup if I ever get to play outside. You know, I was just bored one day, so I threw it together. So let's see how this gun normally looks. This is my main configuration with the Specna Edge Series 2.0. This is how it comes out of the box. Because with the Strike Industries handguard, M-lock for the thing, it's got like this nice little like groove. You can see the Picatinny goes down, so that way you can get a nice firm grip around it. It does come with the metal angled grip, which I have removed to put on a Picatinny mount for this little stubby grip, because I'm just a stubby grip kind of guy. You know, I threw on my best cheap budget optic, this Firefield optic. It has different reticles that you can play with, so, and different colors you can set the reticle to, so it's a little more fun to use. I have it set for like the EOTech style, you know, optic or reticle for the optic. You know, I got this super bright flashlight. This is the Tough Soul, TOUGH Soul. These things are so good worth the price. All metal, M-lock. It comes with the Picatinny mount as well. Comes with the pressure switch. Comes with the battery and charger. $40, and it is bright and has a strobe mode. So crazy. So it is so good that people have actually been using them on actual rifles for a good budget flashlight. The lumens are crazy. I don't know the actual lumen rating on there, but it's the brightest flashlight I have, and people are going as far as saying it's as bright as a Surefire. So that's pretty cool. You can see so far ahead in the dark with this flashlight. I've taken the flashlight off and just taken it out in the woods with me at nighttime just to get the whole feel of it. But this is what you're looking at out of the box, and this thing is a performance beast out of the box. You know, super awesome. I play CQB, that's why I bought this configuration. They make the Edge 2.0 in a whole bunch of different M4 configurations with different handguards, and it's my top of the line, top dog gun. You know, just surprisingly less accurate than that UMP, but it is the fire rate that we go for at our CQB, so I can be quick and snappy with it. I've gotten so many good multi-kills with this thing, so many good plays with this gun. It's just, it blows everything out of the water. And for a $400 gun, it better. You know, that MOSFET is super crazy in it, super programmable, and just an overall nice aesthetic and design. I wasn't too thrilled on the style of the handguard, but it was like a shorter than getting the Daniel Defense with one with the Mark 18 style handguard. Just, I literally picked this configuration over the Mark 18 configuration because it was shorter than the Mark 18 style, and it's a CQB field. The shorter the barrel, the better, the more meta. Best gun, easily #1 in my collection. Super, just, I can't, I'm gassing it up, dude. I can't stop dick riding this Specna. It's just, you know, glaze galore, and for a good reason. Lots of people own Specnas, lots of people love Specnas. RSR Field always recommends the Specna if you're going for a high-end gun for the price, and it just blows the competition out of the water. So yeah, those are all of the new guns in the collection, so now we can go over some changes I've made to some guns from last video's collection. Specifically, this long boy. I'm going to stand a little bit further because this gun's so long. This was my named Rage Quit rifle. You know, still got the same scope on it. However, it's got big long boy suppressor on it for that super cool DMR look. And this mock suppressor is the one that comes with the UMP outer barrel change kit. You know, I actually threw in a shorter outer barrel than the original one in the last video that you saw. Unless I did it earlier then. I don't know. I've been tinkering a long time. It kind of just all blurs together. This is a Lancer Tactical Warlord. Not a big fan of the key mod style. This gun was gifted to me from a friend who didn't play Airsoft anymore, but it's one of their higher end Lancer Tacticals. Super snappy trigger response, you know, all that jazz. Entirely metal upper receiver and rail system. You know, all metal everything except the lower is polymer. Super cool. I threw a black stock on it. This black stock that's on it was the one that came with the AK we saw earlier in the video. But then I took this metal hand style angle grip, whatever you want to call it. This is the grip that comes with the Specna Edge 2.0. And apparently you can use M-Lock for key mod the way I did it. I wouldn't recommend doing that on a real rifle, but for Airsoft, it's super snug. It's not going anywhere. It holds the whole thing together just fine, and this is a heavier gun. So I threw that in just for the DMR grip and aesthetic, and it's just overall better for this style of gun. So yeah, that's the updated Rage Quit rifle. And if you want to know why I call it the Rage Quit rifle, story time in the last video. Next is a big one, a long time coming. My childhood best friend gave me the parts for this long boy. It is an M16, well, it was an M16 that fell apart, SR25, whichever you want to go with, M16 more realistic. So I had this handguard in stock laying around for a while, but no internals or receiver to put it on. So I did a video, another plug, where I completely dismantled the Valken. Not only did I dismantle the Valken, but I reviewed the Valken ASL series of M4s. If you want to see how that went, spoiler, it's not good. Check out that video. I decided to revive my childhood best friend's M16 and the Valken. And it works. It makes the Valken actually work better than it was before. But this is just a nice, you know, Afghan, Iraq War era style M16. And I had all the fixing on it when I went to make that one video, but I have since removed all the attachments for other guns. But it's still so cool to look at, and such a classic style of rifle, and I'm very happy to bring back our childhood M16. Back in the middle school days when we were playing airsoft in the backyard before we knew that there were actual rules to airsoft and a sport, and we would just keep shooting each other until somebody gave up because we thought that's how you played. Hit till you quit, guys. But yeah, that's an update on the M16 build. It's come back to life, finally. And non-airsoft related, I have finally rebuilt my AR-15. This was a used Bushmaster that shot like shit out of the box. I couldn't hit anything with it. That's because the birdcage was on crooked, so the muzzle force, instead of, you know, doing the thing it's supposed to, it kept kicking the gun this way. You know, so I got that squared away. It needed a whole new buffer tube system, whole new buffer tube setup, so I replaced it with the mil-spec buffer tube instead of having a civilian-style buffer tube for, you know, boring civilian-style stock. So I could throw on everybody's favorite Magpul stock, you know, super lightweight. Throw on some new Magpul dressings, you know, QD sling mount on the back, because we put a whole new back plate on there. I just basically rebuilt the whole rear of this gun, the whole buffer system, fixed the birdcage issue, and bought myself a nice little Sig Romeo. I know it's a budget optic, a real optic that you can use for real guns, you know, because it's Sig Sauer, and it's built for that. It's only $140, you know, totally worth the price point if you're looking for a red dot and you don't want to be clowned on for having Amazon optics. Definitely pick up a Sig Romeo. Highly recommend it. Once I fixed this gun all up together, I was hitting my targets without even trying. And it's still on. I left the damn thing on. That shouldn't be a problem because it's a super nice one. It also has a night vision reticle option, you know. So this is my actual AR-15 that I've built up and fixed up. Gun is clear. I probably should have started with that, but I never keep this thing loaded. Gun's always clear. Plus, this mag is a broken metal mag. I just keep it in there to keep the dust out of it. Yeah, I think I was talking in the last video about how I need to revive this thing, and it's finally been revived. This thing is so sick. For my first AR, I wanted to go with the classic Picatinny style handguard. You know, just because of it's just such an iconic look, you know. Tried to make it look like the M4 from Modern Warfare 2, because that's a good childhood game. Brought this rifle back to life. It was super shitty. You know, buying it used, I got kind of scammed on it. I paid $700 for it. And that's because Bushmaster doesn't usually come with this handguard. This is an aftermarket Picatinny style handguard. And I guess he thought he could ask more for the price, so I bought it used, $700. Got ripped off, had to buy some more parts to fix it. But it's a learning experience. Never buying a used gun ever again. For those of you who are actually into like real firearms, this is what we got going on. And I'll throw up a little clip of me shooting it too.
There you go. Nice, good hit.
And that is my Airsoft collection of 2025. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the new gun and seeing what changed on some of the guns. Nice little fun update. I plan on doing these videos yearly if I get new guns. With the way things are on track now, that should become a better possibility in the future. If you're bored and you want to learn more about Airsoft or like laugh at me being stupid in some gameplay, because we have some funny moments in gameplay, definitely check out the channel. Subscribe if you're not. Check out all of the Airsoft videos we have. We've got some educational ones. I know I'm a little more foul-mouthed than most Airsoft creators. My channel isn't for kids necessarily. Yeah, kids like Airsoft and Airsoft, but unlike America, most of the world Airsoft, you have to be 18 plus. I know in Japan, if you're younger than 18, you have to be accompanied by an adult, but in Europe, they do a lot of 18 only Airsoft. Looking at the analytics, most of my audience is 18 plus. So, you know, there are a lot of airsoft channels, and a lot of them are super, super kid-friendly, almost to the point where I feel like I'm watching Dora the Explorer. I'm not going to name names. There's nothing wrong with airsoft content like that. I just would like to give you guys a more, you know, adult approach to the hobby, since everybody in the United States clowns on airsoft as being for little kids, or just buy a real gun. What's your point, guys? Plus, this channel isn't just an airsoft channel. Airsoft is mostly what we do, but I also do video games, and when I get around to it, some car stuff here and there as a little sprinkled surprise. Lots of video games are played on this channel, including a lot of card stuff too, since me and Giovanni have been getting really into One Piece, the card game. Long video, like the last Airsoft Collection video. Not as long as the last one, but still long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you next time with some more content of whatever the hell I can afford to do. Haha!